Hello, and welcome to another episode of How to Use MacStitch. This is Sarah from Little Step Studios, and today you might notice that things look a little bit different. It's not super noticeable, but I now have MacStitch 2021. I was a very good girl, and I finished my taxes early, so I thought I would reward myself with an upgrade. And I actually went ahead and got the unlimited lifetime upgrades, and I wish I'd done this sooner, but I did the impossible, and I went from 2019, skipped 2020, and went straight to 2021. So I feel very happy that I skipped 2020 in at least one sense of the word. But today, I'm not going to be getting into everything awesome that you can do in this new version, but I want to answer a question that Saxy Marsh asked me about using the alpha text, and we'll go over backstitch text as well here. Just a quick note, Saxy, I checked out your page and I almost screamed when I heard that Dr. Dre sax on your front page. That was awesome. So if anyone's watching and you want to have a nice soundtrack for stitching, I would recommend checking out her channel. It was really entertaining, and I love all the covers that you've got there. Very talented. So I really want to help you out with that. And she wanted to know how you can make the text larger or smaller, how you can resize it, and it is much easier to do now that I've upgraded, so we will go over that. And you cannot directly increase the size. It's easier to make things smaller, but to make the text larger, it is possible, but we'll have to do a little workaround, so I will show you. The easiest way to do this is, of course, if you've got things in layers, but let's get started. So we'll just keep it in black to keep things simple. And the first thing I'm going to do is go down to this alpha. And these are special motifs. These are alphabets that have been designed. Some of these are in full stitches, some have half stitches, and some are fully backstitched. And you can use these any way you'd like. You can see we've got numbers, we've got different characters. But just like the motifs, these all have set sizes from the get-go. So if I select this D, it's automatically going to give me something that, I believe this must be about 17 stitches high, because I have my cloth set to 14 stitches at the moment. All of these are preset at a specific place. And these are actually preset in this purple color. I would have to go in and change that. Not super hard, but you do have to change it, because if you look at the bottom, I'm set to black, and it's still printed that out in the lavender shade. So you do need to work with that a little bit. Most of the alphabets are presented first in uppercase, and then if you scroll down, it will switch that over to lowercase, and everything is presented in these sizes. So let's say I really like this H, and then I want to do, like those old-timey books where you had the one really big letter and then you had smaller letters. I like that look, and let's say I wanted to do that, but this is a pretty big difference. But I will go ahead and I will get hello written out with this alphabet. I'm using the curly one, and then this is lyre for the back stitching. So those are the two that I decided to use. And I'm going to make the H smaller, and then I'm going to make the backstitched letters larger, and you do both of these in exactly the same way. So I thought that that would be a good way to demonstrate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the selector tool, and I'm going to select this H. And first of all, let's say that I want to change the color. Go in. This is really useful. I love this. this is one of the updates they've done. I don't know if this was done in the 2020 version, but it's showing up in 2021. And so I can automatically see how many stitches I have in each color, and that makes it so much easier for me to tell what I've got going on. So I know that this is the color I've used for this H, and I don't want to have it in that color. Let's say I want it in, what do I like? Let's say I want it to be green. We'll have it be pistachio green, 319, hit replace, bam, biggity bam, that is done. And it totally removed it and switched out the pistachio in the palette, which is fine because I'm not planning to use any other colors. Now, I want to resize this because I got out of the little menu for the select option. So I'll go to select, and then I have options. Here I go. I'm going to go to promote selection to layer. So I'm going to click that, and then it's going to load up the layers menu for me right away, which is right down here if you ever get out of that menu. And a new tool that was not available before is this shrink option. That came about in the 2020 version. So if I click on that, it's going to show me different percentages. And these percentages are how large do you want this to be compared to the version you are currently working on. So right now the size for this H is 100%. So if I click 90%, it will make it 10% smaller. 80 will make it 20% smaller, etc., etc. So you could go down to 10%, and that's going to make it super teeny tiny, and it looks like it's one square. So I'm going to hit Command Z because that is a horrible idea. And I think it undid the, yeah, unfortunately that undoes the layer selection, so I'm going to have to reselect it, option, and again, we will promote this to a layer. And this time, I'm going to do a much more manageable 90%. And you see it does change things up a little bit. There was no more space to work with the H. So that's something you want to keep in mind. You will have a little bit of work to do if you basically run out of room for some of the elements within the motif. So there was no more room for the H to curve. And what I might do is, I'll just flatten this because I don't need it as a layer anymore. So if you hit merge or flatten, it'll go back to being a part of the regular pattern. And I will erase this part and then select pistachio again. I'll just put it there. You know what? I think I like this better. I will leave it like this. And that is how you shrink it. So we made this 10% smaller. If you decide to keep on shrinking it, just keep in mind that after I clicked 90%, the next time I click 90%, it will do 10% smaller from the current version. So it's always going to be decreasing it from the version that you have at the moment. So if I do 90% and then do 80%, it would not be 80% of the original H size, it would be 80% of that 90% size, which sounds a little confusing. So, I would just hit undo and then redo it if you want to keep your percentages a little bit more simple. All right, so now we are going to try to make the text larger. And that's not going to be too difficult. Excuse me, I got the old window up over here. Don't need to save that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the backstitch that I want to make larger. I'm going to hit Option, and I'm going to copy this. And then what I'm going to do is hit Edit, and I'm going to paste as a new chart. And it is very squished in there, but it's just all barely on the chart. I think just to make sure that things go okay and smoothly, first I'm going to change the design area, and we want to have this keep ratio box ticked. And I'm going to just make it up to an inch over here, so that everything is nice and in there. And I'm going to click OK. and it's going to ask if I want the design resized to fit. This time I'm going to say no, so it's going to stay the same size. But now I've got everything in the design. We don't need to worry about the canvas size here. All we're going to be doing is getting our text up to the size that we want. So we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 basically stitches over here. And we're going, oh, sorry, I don't need to hit select. We're going to go back up and do the same thing on change design area. And I want it to get a little bit bigger, but nothing crazy. So let's say we make this, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 0.3 inches larger. So that should be just a tiny bit bigger. And you can experiment with this. You can do, the actual math. You can double it. If you don't have a problem with the entire design getting onto the page, it's a little bit easier. But mine didn't work out last time, so I want to be careful. And now when it says, do you want the design resized to fit, we are going to select yes. And this is going to make all of this a little bit larger. So we can see it is now 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5-ish with that. There's 2 little edges there. Maybe I want it a little bit bigger, so I'll hit change design area again, and I will bump this up to 20. Now it's 1.4 inches, and I can click OK. And again, yes, I want it resized. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what I wanted. It's now 25% larger than it was before, which makes sense since it's at 1.4 inches. So now what I need to do is, yes, choose the select. I'm going to select this, go to option, and I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to go back to my original chart, and I will hit paste as layer. And it's a little bold when you're working on getting it in there, just so that you know which one you're using. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space so that I have room to move the other one away. And you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, and this is literally 25% larger. So that's nice that we got it exactly that much bigger. Oops. To options, move. What I've got is I've got the layer, and I forgot all about that. So that was pretty stupid of me. So now what I want to do, instead of trying to select something that's technically not at the same level, don't forget, the thing with layers, you do have to either merge them if you want to be able to move it around. But why didn't I show you a tool with the layers, since I forgot I can't move it that way? It wasn't acting buggy. That was all my brain. I will show you the nudge tools that they moved in, which is kind of cool. You can move it over. This moves it 1 square at a time, and you can move it a little bit, which is really fun. And you can move it up and down, all around. And then let's say I'm happy with that position. Now I'm going to click merge or flatten as well. Bam! Now I could select it if I wanted to. When it is a layer, you can't select it like that. So don't forget, if you're using layers, we have layers separate for a reason, and that's so that you aren't making changes to the layer as you are the rest of the chart. And then when you no longer need it to be a layer, then merge or flatten it so that you can make changes to the entire thing. And then briefly, I wanted to show the Backstitch text. So this is a little bit different from using those alphabets. The text options that you have here, I believe there are 19 or 20 different texts that you can use. And this is if you want to type a sentence or a phrase in backstitching instead of using the full letters. So I like this classic 2 one. I think it's kind of cool. So let's say I want to say, hello, sauce tube. And I'm going to be able to select the color that I want. It's going to use the DMC family because that's what I have over there at the moment. I can always change this later if I want to I like that nice little aqua one. And I'll hit paste. I'm not going to bother putting this in as a layer. We'll zoom out so I can see everything. Oh, that's pretty big. So I think if I did that again, I would paste it as a layer, and then I would again adjust the size. I really like how you can do that in the 2021 version. And I am definitely going to make a video of all the different changes I like in the 2021 version. But I hope that answers your question, Saxy Marsh. Again, you've got an awesome channel, and I know what I'm going to be listening to. Stitching today. Oh, that was really fun. If anyone has any other questions, though, please let me know. Otherwise, I will work on some other topics that I have seen asked around on the internet. And I hope that everyone has a great day. And yeah, again, just let me know if you got any questions. Bye!